You're not required to ask a question, but you can be required. No.
When is it proper for we reply?
Yeah, good question. When is it proper to reply? Yeah. I mean, what do you think about that one, Aldo? When should you reply? When?
When?
Yeah.
Oh, I think as soon as possible, as you read the email.
No, good question.
You do your due diligence, what you need, and then you write.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, yeah, because what we're living in today is obviously a day of high communication. When I first got to China, we were using telexes, I don't know, you guys don't even know what those are, to communicate back and forth between different countries. And you had to, it wasn't until, I don't know, 1990 something where you could get a fax machine. It had to be registered at the post office. Not everyone could get it. So technology has changed so much today that you really should answer within 24 hours. And we've had, even in the last week, we had a client from the UK, and I said, the client said to me, could we get something today? And it was, I don't know, 6 o'clock our time, and it was, I don't know, 11 o'clock in London. And I said, unfortunately, I said yes, and I gave it to somebody to do, and the person was very busy but didn't do it. But that really makes us look bad. Don't make any promises you cannot keep. Even if it's to say, I cannot keep that promise, respond to them. You see what I mean? So the lawyer came back to me and said, oh, you know what, I was doing this thing until 11 o'clock at night, and I know because I gave him the work, and he was doing it. But he should at least respond and say, you know what, I don't have enough time to respond, I'll get it to you tomorrow. Everyone will forgive that. People will forgive the professional stuff as long as you show them respect by responding, that's all. So just try to keep that in mind. There's a lot of people, you guys are so smart and such big perfectionists, you know. You're waiting to write the perfect, you know, you're going to talk to Aldo, you're going to talk to me, you're going to write the perfect thing, it's going to take 3 months. Then the thing is gone, you know what I mean? So you can write the best, you know, response, but if it's too late, it doesn't mean anything. We lost the client, you know, because we're competing against other legal firms. So we don't want to just regurgitate the law. That's the problem. I think when we're in law school, we're all studying laws, studying laws, and then we think that we want to give an exam response back to the client. Clients don't want to hear exam responses. Clients aren't going to law school. Clients are not professors at law school. We want to integrate that. And I think we've seen some big progress in that. I know that Daisy, she's here, and Deborah.
Yeah, we did a very good first memo.
Yeah, where we were integrating law and facts as they're given to us. Yeah, so good. Anything, Jerry? Any comments? Okay, good. Kelly, anything?
The content is quite informative and people, it's really amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I'm totally amazed. I'm humbled by the whole thing. Yes?
I have a question.
Sure.
When you mention initial capital, is the same meaning with registered capital?
It's the capital you have to provide to set up this company. So,
I mean, that's a good question, Sherry, though, too, because I think, I mean, the question is, the person's saying, I want to put in the minimum capital requirements. So the problem is there, guys. Those are terms of art. That's what Sherry's saying. Minimum capital, registered capital, paid-in capital. Yeah, those are all, as we know as lawyers, just like when Tech was asking the question about due diligence, these are all like technical law terms that we learn in law school, right? And so all of a sudden we're kind of like, what is this guy asking us? Is he asking us, how much money do I have to put into the company? I mean, he may be just asking as a lay person what to expect, or what are the legal requirements. So that's a good point. I don't think the guy knows. I think you want to say, minimum registered capital is a term of art, and it's set by local laws, policies, and regulations in Zhejiang in this particular place. And it depends on what your manufacturing is. Just so everybody knows, though, on this minimum registered capital stuff, let's just go very practical so everybody remembers this and never forgets it. The real way, and we talked about this many times as lawyers, is that they should work backwards. What are they going to spend in 12 months to do a manufacturing facility? Just what is going to cost them, okay? Not forget about the law for a second. What's it going to cost them for 12 months, over the next 12 months to do that? And then that should be their minimum capital that they're putting in. That's the answer to the business question, not the answer to the legal question. because they're going to spend that money anyway. They're going to bring it in from abroad anyway. And so as a result, let's just say it cost them $100,000 or $120,000 in the first 12 months. That should be, maybe $100,000 should be their minimum capital input, because they're going to bring that money in from the UK anyway, okay? And legally, we all know, maybe you can open up a company, according to what Sherry said, maybe like, what is it, 30,000 RMB, legally speaking? I guess it has to be the same level. But no bank is going to open up a bank account for some guy who's got 30,000 RMB. Nobody's going to be interested. If he's going to try to deal with Chinese companies, it looks silly, okay? So there's the legal question, how much is the minimum registered capital? And then there's a practical answer, which is saying, you know what, you're going to spend that money anyway. Legally speaking, got to do 30,000 RMB. But legally answering the question isn't going to help you. What's going to help you is say, you're going to spend this amount over 12 or 24 months, and this is what you ought to put into the venture. But no, that's a very good question, I think. And I think what, just so everybody knows, this is not like a, remember, law you guys learn is a lot like a science, you know. This happens, and therefore this works like this. No, you know, it isn't so much a science. We have to listen to the judge. What are they asking us? And then we have to respond to their questions and in a thoughtful way. So I think that's open for negotiation. Again, I think Aldo had a great and perfect, and I wouldn't change it in any way, response to these people. But you all can come up with different conclusions. It's not like a science. Everybody has to plug in Aldo's thing. I mean, there's some things about being respectful, about talking about our competence, and about hitting the issues and concluding. There's different ways to approach to that. It's not just the perfect Aldo way all the time. But this is a very good guideline for those of you who don't have such a clue. So the other thing is that we get a lot of people who just react, get the email in, don't look at anything about what who's asking the question. And they just write back and they say, you know, that'll cost you $25,000, or that'll cost you $2,500 to set up a whoopee. That's a bad answer. Okay, I can just tell you that right now. You want to do all that stuff. You want to learn a little bit more about these guys before you do it. So good, Nancy. Anything to add? Anything?
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. Before a client signs a retainer letter, he wants to provide details information, but you don't want to lose this client. How do you do?
Yeah, you try not to give so much information. You just send another email.
He just wants to know the detailed information, but he don't want to recite the retainer letter now.
Nancy, we had a very similar example of that. Yeah. That was Zhang Fun's case about 2 months ago, where the client wanted detailed advice without a retainer. Yeah. The answer is, our time's our money, we don't give it.
Right, because that's all we're selling. We don't sell the electronic equipment, we don't sell. But I agree with you, it's very difficult. That's what makes the difference between great lawyers and good lawyers and bad lawyers or professionals, is to try to figure out that answer. That's not easy, because you're balancing that thing. And me, even doing this for so many years, I still make mistakes. Because one thing you got to be careful of, Nancy, and this is what clients like to do, is they like to create the emergency, which is the big noise. You know, they're making this big noise over here. Man, we cannot wait. We got to go. You know, we need the legal advice because we're coming over tomorrow. Oh, well, could you sign this engagement letter? Oh, man, we're too busy to sign that engagement letter. We can't do that. And so all of a sudden we're reacting to the client's. And we want to be helpful, like Aldo said. And so we're all of a sudden doing all this stuff. And then at the end of the day, we're trying to collect and we don't have a signed engagement letter. I mean, so we have examples of that right now, which is a lot of money that's outstanding. And even they fooled us, you know, me after all these years. So I mean, so that's difficult because you have to use your judgment. You have to use your judgment. It only changes as time goes by.